All right, speaking of the Democrat Party, the self-proclaimed Party of Democracy is challenging one of their own as the DNC Credentials Committee voted to negate the results of Vice Chair David Hogg's election. While the vote centered on a, quote, procedural error, Hogg says it was more, saying, quote, it is also impossible to ignore the broader context of my work to reform the party, which loomed large over this vote. The DNC has pledged to remove me, and this vote has provided an avenue to fast-track that effort.
Fox News contributor and senior writer for the Washington Examiner, Joe Concha, joins us now. Joe, if Democrats cannot run an election to select the leaders within their own party, one, what does that say of their chances of defeating the other team, i.e. the Republicans, in 2026? But also, should Democrats really be the one lecturing all of us on things like voter ID, voter rights, secure elections, and the like?
Yeah. Oh, boy, Todd, great questions. Well, to answer your second one, never again can any Democrat say with a straight face that they stand first and foremost for democracy and do what they just did to David Hogg, who, by the way, was a horrible choice. I've written about it in the Examiner. I've talked about it on Fox, this show, repeatedly. But this is not how to right a wrong. This is cowardly. It's downright out of the Soviet playbook. Remember, they installed Kamala Harris as the nominee without one vote from the public. And now this ridiculous, it was like, oh, can we get a do-over after David Hogg wasn't saying some of the things that they wanted to hear as a party? And apparently, Todd and Carly, he was removed due to a violation of Democratic Party rules requiring, quote, gender diversity for party officers, unquote. In other words, don't choose the best candidate. A bunch of boxes have to be checked off in the name of, unhinged wokeism. And this is why the Democratic Party is as popular as shingles right now. 21% approval, with their number one calling card being save democracy, all while destroying it from within its own party. So, Todd, that's the answer to your first question. They can't lecture anybody again on this stuff when they are the last people that are practicing what democracy is, which means voting. Somebody gets chosen, and they just can't remove him because you don't like what he's saying or what she's saying, but that's exactly what they just did.
All right, we also have to ask you about this because there's this coalition of people who work in Hollywood leaders, and they wrote President Trump a letter asking him to help them out by reducing taxes on TV and movie production. And they write, quote, these potent tax measures would immediately make America more competitive, expand the American media industry, bring jobs back to America, and support the independent spirit of American business. The letter also, Joe, starts off saying, we appreciate and thank you for the support you have shown our industry. I am sure you have some thoughts on that, Hollywood giving a big thank you to President Trump.
Wow. The world is upside down now at this point. We have RFK Jr., right, in the Trump administration. We have Elon Musk, who never voted for a Republican until recently in the Trump administration, in essence, as far as Doge is concerned. Tulsi Gabbard, who was number 3 in the DNC, working for Donald Trump. And now we have Hollywood calling for tax credits and tax cuts, which at last check, liberals never really were for, right? More taxes to the government, let the government take care of you. But nothing quite says tone deaf like tax credits for Hollywood elites. I mean, it's funny. 90% of Hollywood not only votes against Donald Trump and Republicans in general, they actively campaign against them as well. And now they want tax relief, but they won't mention that T word, which is tariffs, right? And that's what's designed to bring American films back to America, like that statement said, back to Hollywood, instead of them being outsourced like so many other businesses overseas. But it's not the greatest look for the entertainment industry to be begging for tax cuts and credits while the rest of Californians continue to see their cost of living go up. So I don't know. I guess it's a good thing they're embracing tax cuts, but a little too late. And quite frankly, they're the last people that deserve it.
And they're doing it in a shrewd way, asking John Voight and Sylvester Stallone, people that are, pretty much in the Trump orbit, to be like, hey, can you help us out with the big guy? We'll see if it works. Joe Concha, he's our big guy.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Sure is.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.